Welcome to the Dietitian Side Hustle podcast. My name is Katie Dodd. I am a nutrition entrepreneur, but here's the catch. I have a full-time traditional dietitian job. My entrepreneurial endeavors are my side hustle. I have been making six figures through my job and side hustle, doing things that I love. If I can do it, you can too. This podcast is for dietitians, interns, and students who want to be inspired to start or perfect the side hustle of their dreams. Let's do this. Hi guys, welcome to the sixth episode of the Dietitian Side Hustle podcast. Today's episode is going to be a little bit different than past episodes. I will be sharing with you my 2019 income report. Now this is really going to be more of an FYI, but I do have some action items for you, so stay around. So what is an income report? An income report is going to be where I share with you over the last year how much money I made and where I made that money from, and then how much money that I put into my side gigs, and then my net income at the end. So one of my favorite dietitians who runs the Unconventional RD has these really inspirational blog posts where she posts monthly income reports. She shares everything where here's how much money I made and from where, and here's how much money I spent and from where. So for me, when I saw those, it was so inspirational to see, wow, this is how she does it, and wow, it's totally possible. So I'm going to be sharing my income report just from the perspective of my side hustle. I'm not going to be talking about my full-time job because I do have a full-time 40-hour-a-week job. With my side hustle, my goal is to work 4 hours per week. Some weeks I work more, some weeks I work less, some weeks I don't work at all with my side gig. So I will say that I don't really count the hours that I do my social media, like my Instagram, Facebook, towards those hours of work, because for me that's just fun. It's something I enjoy to do. And if I'm honest, I probably was spending too much time on social media personally anyways. So I've kind of shifted the time that I would spend personally on social media, and now I'm using it for my side hustles, and I'm really enjoying it. So in the beginning of 2019, this was really before I got really started on all of my entrepreneurial endeavors, but I did set a goal where I wanted to make $300 a month in extra income. Now, I know that doesn't sound crazy, but that's where I started with the year. $300 a month with 4 hours per week. So I also had zero intention of spending any money, investing any money into what I was doing. I had this mindset at the start of 2019 that I just didn't want to spend a dime. I wanted to make money, but I wasn't willing to spend it to make it. So, so my goal over the year was to make $3,600 in extra income in 2019. Again, emphasizing this is specifically for my side hustle. I do have a good job that pays me a full-time living wage. So I've mentioned this in past episodes, but I went to a spring conference with the Oregon Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics and the Washington Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics, and I listened to several dietitian entrepreneurs who just inspired the heck out of me. And one of them made the comment that the people who make the most money have the most streams of income, multiple streams of income. So I remember I sat down and I started looking at, okay, what are all of my streams of income, including my full-time job, and what can I do to make more streams of income coming in? And then in June, I ended up investing in the Unconventional RD's SEO, search engine optimization, made simple online course. This was an investment of several $100s, and it was really hard for me to invest that money because of my mindset. But I had a friend who told me, Katie, you're a dietitian, she's a dietitian, she's in the space you want to be in, take the class, invest. And I will tell you, this probably was one of the best decisions that I've made to invest the money into this course, because it really changed the trajectory of what I'm doing with my side hustles and really the future of my income. So super excited, and I will always, always, always recommend the Unconventional RD courses. But it really led to me shifting my mindset. And I also realized how small I was dreaming. I started learning from all these other dietitians who were making so much money doing these fun things that I like to do. And I just realized, wow, there's so much opportunity out there. I want in on this, and I want to tell other dietitians how to get in on this too. So it was in June that I really started investing in my side gig, aka I started having expenses. I also started tracking my income and expenses in an Excel spreadsheet. I did backtrack to the beginning of the year so that I could have all the data that I'm going to share with you today. So I've never actually seen an income report be communicated via podcast, so I hope that I'm able to communicate this well and that I'm not confusing you with all these numbers that I throw around, but I'll do my best. So, drum roll, my goal was to bring in $3,600 by the end of 2019. I ended up bringing in $7,665. through my side hustle, which was 213% more than my goal. So I'm very happy about that. I did have expenses. I ended up spending $1,333. So my net profit for 2019 is $6,331. I will add that I have some income that's coming that hasn't hit the bank yet that will probably double that number. But since it hasn't hit the bank yet, I'm not counting it. So that'll go towards my 2020 income report. So this past year, I worked a full-time job, and I did have side gigs. And I will say between my side gigs and my full-time job, I have made over 6 figures. But looking at the big picture of how much money I made, my side gigs only made up 7% of my income. So only 7% of my income is coming from all these side gigs we're going to talk about. But keep in mind, I work 4 hours a week with my side gigs, 40 hours a week with my full-time gig. So there we go. So let's talk a little bit about my income, where I made $7,665 in my income total, and that income came from 4 main areas: webinars, writing, selling digital goods, and working with brands. Although I will say, working with brand, it was one brand. It was Kodiak Cakes. So, but in the future, I hope to work with more brands. So looking at these 4 main areas, the one that I made the most money in over the past year was through freelance writing. I made 50% of my side gig income through writing. I made $3,885 through writing with various people. And in my 2 episodes ago, I talked about how dietitians make money writing, if you want to learn a little more about that. My second highest form of income came through webinars. So I made 45% of my side gig income through webinars, which was about $3,471. And I made that a couple ways. I made it through doing live webinars, so I would get paid a cut of money for however many people would show up for webinars I was doing live. But then I also made money for the webinars that were purchased on demand. So I already recorded the live. It's on a website. Every time a dietitian goes in and purchases this, I get a small percentage of what they purchase, and then as the money adds up, I get cut a check, sent that in the mail, and so that's passive income, which I really like. I actually made over $1,000 in passive income through from webinars last year, which is just so cool to sit back and just get these checks coming in the mail, and it's like, oh man, I'm not really doing anything. This is fabulous. So I love passive income. It takes work up front, but it's nice to see money come in later. Just another stream of revenue. So then next was working with brand. That was 3% of my side income. And then the amount that I made the least money in over the past year was selling digital goods. It was a little less than 1% of my side income came from selling digital goods. And part of that is just really working on having an audience to sell to, and I'm really early in my business, so I know that number will continue to grow as I continue to build up my brands over time. So I'm happy with that number. So now shifting from my income, again, I made money through writing first and foremost. 50% of my income came from writing, followed by webinars at 45%, 3% working with brands, and less than 1% selling digital goods. So now let's look at where I spent money. So where I spent money went into 4 different areas as well: education, for my podcast, for my websites, and then resources. Breaking those down, for education, I took courses over the last year. I took several courses where I just have soaked up as much as I can to learn all of these systems about how we can make money now and how I can make even more money later. I have purchased all of the unconventional RDs, business bootcamp courses. I'm still in the process of finishing a few of them, but I have taken search engine optimization. I'm taking making money blogging, and then also email marketing magic. I also purchased a small course on podcasting, and then a course through Registered Dietitian Approved on Instagram Secrets, on how I could really work on building up my Instagram page. So I invested over the past year almost $1,000 in courses and education. Next came my podcast. These are hosting fees. Keep in mind, I just started this podcast in November, so I only have a couple of months, but I spend $7 a month to host this podcast. It's really not much money that I'm investing into this. For my website, I pay for hosting, so that is I pay for where my websites live. so I pay the hosting fees, and then I also pay annually for the domain names that I have. So over the past year, I've spent about $100 towards my websites. And then finally, for resources, I do have a monthly subscription for a keyword research tool that I use so that I can make posts that are optimized for SEO, and so people can find them on Google. I do pay a monthly subscription for Canva to make all the graphics that you might see on my blog post and on Instagram. I did purchase Filmora Screen, which is a tool that I use to record videos that I sell on RD to RD. Also, it's actually what I'm recording this podcast on now is actually Filmora Screen. And then also I purchased a webcam. Other resources like this microphone I had already purchased ahead of time with a gift card I actually got. So the resources that I spent over the past year, and again, this is really the last 6 months, was a little over $200. So if you combine the courses, the fees I pay to host my podcast, to host my website, and the resources I need to do my job, I'm spending about, or over the past year, I spent $1,333. So breaking that down, I have my spreadsheet in front of me I got to pull up. So breaking that down, kind of looking at the difference of where my goals were, what actually happened and the difference. My goal was to bring in $3,600. I brought in $7,665, so $4,000 more than I planned to I brought in over the past year. My goal was to not spend a dime for expenses. I ended up spending $1,333, but that's okay. In the end, even after everything was said and done, if you take away the expenses that I did invest in, I still made $2,731 more than what I had anticipated. So for me, that is a win. And I will point out that up until this point, I've really approached my side gigs as a hobby. And I've really been shifting my mindset even further. And as I move into 2020, I'm actually shifting my mindset even more and looking at what I'm doing as my side gigs as an actual business. So really, I will be creating a business. I actually, in a couple days, I'm meeting with my accountant. I have met an attorney locally who I'll be meeting with. I'll be forming an LLC, a limited liability company. I'll be getting a business banking account, getting some liability insurance, developing a really formal business plan, just really all the things so that in 2020, what I'm doing will not be a hobby. It's going to be a legit business. So my goal is to continue my side hustle. Again, I'm going to keep to my average of 4 hours per week. Some weeks I know I'll have more, some weeks I know I'll have less, but I'm also planning to knock my income goals out of the park. So I can't wait till next year when I share my 2020 income report. Hopefully, I'll be like sharing how much more I made. So I think really depending on your perspective, the $6,000 I made over the past year, that might seem like a lot or it might seem like a little. For me, it was amazing because I was able to actually pay off a piece of debt that we had, and then I still have enough money that I'm able to invest into developing a business over the next year, because it actually does take money to do things the right way, to do things the legit way if you want to do it legally, and all the things that you want to make sure you're covering your bases now. It does take a little bit of money if you want to invest in things. So I'm really grateful that I've made enough money over the past year that I could spend it in fun ways and then also invest in the future of my business. So that was my income report. I hope that was insightful and maybe inspirational for you. I know things are going to change a lot in 2020, but I do have some action items for you. So I want you to sit down and I want you to set an income goal for 2020. How much money do you want to make through your side hustle endeavors over the next year? You could do it two ways. You could break it down. I want to make this much money per month, or you could say this much money for the year. Either way. Next, I want you to start tracking your income and expenses. Excel spreadsheet is just fine. You could purchase something fancy if you want to, but you need to start actually tracking how much money you're making, where it's coming from, how much money you're spending. And the last piece that I will recommend for you, strongly recommend, is that if you don't have expenses for your side hustle, I want you to consider getting some. And I don't want you to see this as I'm just wasting money, but I want you to invest in yourself. I want you to buy a course, pay for a coach, pay for the resources you need. Maybe it is getting your own website so you have to pay for hosting fees instead of just, utilizing the free website resource that you've been using for a long time. Maybe it's buying the equipment to start your own podcast. Whatever it may be, start investing in yourself. Start small if you need to, if it's scary, but I hope to see when you create your tracking sheets for your income reports, your financial sheets, that you do have some expenses. So, you are a dietitian side hustler. You've got this, my friends. I hope that you set some great goals and you go out and crush them. Until next time, guys, take care. Bye.